statement. Andrew, come over and get next to Kenny. It's been first of all, on behalf of my client Kenny Bartley and his entire family, we want to reiterate our sincere sympathy to the family of Mr. Bruce and to the other victims involved in this case. Kenny was sincere when he expressed that statement on the stand. That was the first time he got to talk publicly. But right now, I want to tell you, this has been a very long journey to justice for Kenny Bartley. His family has been incredibly supportive. The Hamilton County jury worked incredibly hard throughout the course of this trial. I think they listened to the proof, and one thing that we asked them to do this morning during our closing arguments was not to make a decision based on sympathy to Kenny Bartley because he was 14 or to the victims, but we asked them to look at the evidence and follow the evidence and make a correct decision for a just verdict. The jury listened, and they have made a decision that has changed this family and this young man's life. We anticipate Kenny will make a very minimal $7,500 bond here within the next few hours. His sentencing range for reckless homicide under Tennessee law is a Class D felony, 2 to 4 years. The other crimes are typically Class E felonies. So Kenny has well done the time that he is required to do for the jury verdict. What I'm hoping for on behalf of this family and the community is now that everyone can have closure and move on with their lives. But again, I'd like to thank the jury for their hard work and their attention. It was very obvious the way they were attentive, the way they took notes. We couldn't ask for any more. Now, at this point, we'll entertain just a few questions.
You're going to see your son in a couple hours, a free man. What are you going to say? What are you going to do?
Very thankful.
I got you. I got you. Come here.
I'm a member. That's all I can say.
So are you going to give him a big old hug? What are you going to say to him?
That's all I got to say, okay?
What was Ken's response when you went back?
Literally, when we went back in the room, Kenny broke down and cried. He basically broke down on the table and was speechless. And he cried the entire time we were back there. So basically not a lot of talking, but quote, he said, "I need to get this shirt off." He cried and was very thankful and just said, "I can't believe I'm going home to see Mom and Dad."
Has he given you any indication of what he wants to do next, or has he even let himself think that far ahead?
You know, I don't think we're thinking that far ahead. I mean, when when we walked up these steps this morning, I mean, the possibilities in this case were on both ends of the spectrum. He could have been convicted of multiple counts of first-degree homicide, which carried a sentence in excess of 52 years. He could have been convicted of a number of other serious felonies with significant sentences in the range of 15 to 25 years. So basically, we were just focused on trying to communicate to the jury to follow and make a decision, a just verdict based on the facts. So we didn't talk about what he was going to do, what he was not going to do, and he's been a great client. And I will say this, that young man is very remorseful for what happened on November 8, 2005. I know these parents are very remorseful, and I think the jury listened to the proof and put themselves in the position of a 14-year-old, and they followed the law and they made the correct decision. But a big day for the Bartley family.
When is it? I was going to say, I know you said 2 to 4 years for the reckless. He's already served the time that the other would be. What are the sentencing guidelines for that?
I believe they're Class E felonies, 1 to 2 years. So those would typically run concurrent. So it should be. I think Kenny's already paid his debt to society.
When's his sentencing date? Is it?
We didn't set one. I think Judge Blackwood wanted the jury to return to Hamilton County and when the courtroom cleared. So those are some housekeeping matters that we're going to address in the very, very near future.
Has anything happened since he served more than what his jury? Has anything happened?
No, and this case is one of the most, unusual procedural cases probably in the history of Tennessee jurisprudence, where Kenny Bartley was transferred as an adult, which is extremely rare from juvenile court. He entered a plea of guilty, then we were able to get that plea set aside as not being knowing, intelligent, voluntary. Then that went up to the Tennessee Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court of Tennessee, and then came back. So unfortunately, sometimes you have to wait as the wheels of justice move forward. But I will tell you this: he's not bitter, remorseful. He is just, again, very remorseful for what happened on November 8, 2005, but very thankful at the hard work that jury from Hamilton County did. But one thing I will ask, you all have been very patient, professional through this process. If you would respect the privacy of his mother, Rita, and his father, Kenny, and let them have a evening alone tonight with their son. We may give a statement down the road, but if everybody would respect their privacy, I would greatly appreciate it. But that's all we have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, do you want to talk now?
I do.
Bring
Okay.
you down here.
I do. Do you want to stay on the steps, or do you want to step down a little bit?
Let's step down a little
Wait till
bit.
they leave, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Switch arms.
I put a mic on. May I?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna like this right here. Sorry.
It's ready.
Ready? It's been a very difficult day for our families. And I've been asked to make a statement on behalf of all three. First, to say to Mr. Pierce and Mr. Sills that the damage that is done to their bodies does not matter. What a sad day this is. For my husband, who died of a direct shot to his back in a downward motion, which means, execution style. To get a verdict of reckless homicide says to me that his 20 years of service to this country that mattered so much to him, he spent his first 20 years of his adult life loving and serving this country. And he spent his last 13 loving and serving the children of this community. And it failed us today. Our system failed not just our families, it failed the children in our school systems. When we sent a message, this is the first school shooting that has gone to trial. Because usually there's not a perpetrator left, because usually they're not here in the end. And the message that we sent today was our children don't matter. I'm devastated, but I will tell you this. This will not kill my family. We are better than this. And I have asked Mr. Seals and Mr. Pierce to stay strong, because that's what we were when we started 8 years ago, and that's what we'll be tomorrow. But I want you guys to remember, they victimized and re-victimized my family for 8 years, and we sat in that courtroom with our heads held high because we believed in the justice system, and it failed us today. And all I want anybody to think when they go to bed tonight is about my husband, Ken Bruce, whose hands were up in the air, body bent over, with a gun in his back, shot mercilessly. Whatever the victim, whatever they decide in there, what the jury decided, it really doesn't matter to me, because I know what happened to him. But I know what Ken would say to us today, and I want to send this message to every educator out there. Everyone, we have a job to do. We do it well, and we should be proud of it. But watch your back. It's important. Go back. and make sure that you're safe. You deserve it. We all deserve it. Thank you.
So he was in the military?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years. What branch?
At Army, he was a lieutenant colonel. Yeah, retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Army. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I'm so